Alright guys, welcome back, and we're now about to sketch the graph itself. And remember first of all that the value of A is positive 2, which means that the graph is going to have a smile. So what we're going to be doing is essentially I'm going to be recommending what to do first and so on in the correct order. So it's a lot easier for you to go ahead and do this. Now I know that I'm going to get a smile because the value of A is positive, so I know the curve is going to come this way. The next thing I want to do is just look at the roots to determine if I should put my y-axis a little bit right or left, depending on what the roots are, which means the value is on the x-axis. So the larger value is on the positive side of the x-axis, which means more to the right side of the y-axis. So I just want to keep that in mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to establish my axes on paper first of all. Just to do this quickly. Just get my axes drawn. And of course, positive 3 is on this side, which means the majority of the graph is going to be here. So I'm just doing that just for a little bit of emphasis. So that is that. So I have to label. It is extremely important that you label your axes, because if you don't label your axes, technically, if I didn't label y and x, we wouldn't know how to turn the paper. So labeling is very important. If you don't label, normally they take out marks in the exam, so be careful of that. So I have my axes drawn, and the first thing I'm going to do is put my roots on the paper. So -1, both roots must be on the x-axis, so -1 would be somewhere in this region. This is 0. This is the origin. And I'm just going to indicate -1 right there. And just to give an approximation, 1, 2, 3, of where 3 would be. So it's a rough approximation. The values matter. Alright, the values are what matter. So you don't have to kill yourself off if you're a little bit in or out or whatever. The values are what matter. So I understand that it's a smile. I have my roots on the paper. And the next thing I want to do is the equation of the line of symmetry, which is x equals 1. And that should be smack in the middle of the two roots. So I'm going to indicate this as +1. And now through this, I am simply going to draw my line of symmetry. So I'm just going to do that. All right. I'm going to get the line of symmetry drawn as straight as possible. I'm just going to pass through the point 1 on the x-axis. So this is my line of symmetry. I'm just drawing it like that. Okay? Okay. So this is what is going to cut the parabola exactly in half. So 1, 2, 3 things out of the way. The next thing is the minimum point. It's a minimum point because we have a smile, and the lowest point is k. That's why it's a minimum point, and that point is -8. And -8, I'm just going to state it. Let me put it here. Of course, it's negative. It's a negative value. So -8 is somewhere down there. And this would be the lowest point of the curve. So all I'm going to do now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and naturally as I draw the curve, C is going to come naturally. All right. So what I'm going to do now is just establish the curve, and then essentially I'll be done with the sketch. So as neat as possible. Sometimes you'll be good at it, sometimes not so good. But as neat as possible. Obviously the curve must be drawn freehand without any ruler. So just try to be as non-wobbly as possible. All right, you're not going to get it perfectly right. And try to turn at the minimum point. Try to get the curve to turn at the minimum point and go upwards. All right, and that essentially is your parabola. And of course, again, where it cuts the y-axis, and you can see that it makes sense, right? Where the curve cuts the y-axis is C, and the value of C is -1, and that comes right there. So you can see that it clearly makes sense. And that essentially is the sketch of the quadratic that is in the completed square form, y equals open bracket, sorry, y equals 2 open bracket x minus 1 close bracket squared minus 8. So we're just successful in sketching the graph of the quadratic which is in the completed square form. All right, so play the videos as much as you want after the sessions, after school, and look back at how we go about sketching the graph of a quadratic equation when it's in completed square form. So I hope you guys found the videos insightful, and I'll see you guys on the next video.